Hi everyone, I'm Michael, and this is Back Alley Bonsai. It has been a minute, and I do apologize to my biggest fans, and by that I of course mean my mom and dad. It is now June. I have had a lot of crazy stuff going on. I got a new job. The weather's been nuts, so I really haven't had a lot of time to work out here. But I'm excited to get started on some June pruning, so I'm going to go and work on a lot of trees today and do some kind of general maintenance work on them. So let's get started. So the first up here on the bench is going to be my valley oak. This is a California native species. It's leafed out really, really well, very aggressively. So I'm just gonna go through and trim a lot of this back, and hopefully when it starts its second flush, which you can see is beginning right here, we'll get some more ramification and some more branching. And when it comes to the fall and winter branch selection period, we'll have more to work with. So I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna cut everything back to maybe 1 or 2 leaf buds. I got a couple of leaf buds there. There's a couple of leaf buds there. And a couple of leaf buds there. It's about to shoot out right there. A couple of buds there. I don't want to go too nuts on this because it will probably get very hot here in a couple of weeks, and I want to make sure that I have plenty of leaves on the tree for it to continue its transpiration process, sort of like sweating and breathing. I do want to look for really long branches and cut them back. Clipping the tips off of stuff. Here I got 4 branches coming out of the same spot, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut this back to here. So I'm just going to cut back to there. That one will cut back to there. This one as well. It's kind of my apex there. I'll let that keep growing, get stronger. Cutting this back to 2. And 2. And cut that one back to 2 as well. This one's actually shot out really long. I'm going to actually cut that back a little bit shorter. All right. I could probably cut this back even further, probably to one of these other buds. You can see there's a bunch of buds swelling all along this. I'm going to cut that back to there. And that should trigger some additional growth on basically all of these little branches. Yep, doesn't look like much now, but when it branches back out again, we'll get all of this growth going in different directions, and it'll look really nice. Next up on the workbench is going to be my crepe myrtle. And as you can see, it has just shot out like crazy. Got all the way up to here. These branches, which are super long. They need to trim back, otherwise they're just going to be long and leggy and look kind of unappealing. So again, just need to cut them all back to a couple of leaves. Simple enough. Kind of a dead branch here from a previous cutting. Same thing here. Here I actually have 3 branches growing out in the same spot, which I don't really want. So maybe I'll keep this one growing on the inside. And one of these other ones needs to go. Let me give it. Well, I think the one that's going to go is actually the one that's on the back over here. So I'm just going to come in here with my clippers. Take that one off. There's also a stump here that needs to go. Yeah, I'll leave that for now. If it gets really ugly, I can neaten it up later. And just a couple more end clippings. And there we go. Actually, I'll cut this back a little further. And this one too. And this one as well. Bonsai 101. Clip the strongs, leave the weaks. All right. And that is it for June on the crepe myrtle. Okay. Next up, we have my Ficus Benjamina, and it is looking just absolutely amazing. So I may have had a caterpillar or two in here at some point, but it's doing real good. So I'm basically just going to kind of do just a rough edge clipper pruning to it. Just to kind of cut back the really aggressive growth on it. Get it to be a little bit more pushy. Not making any major decisions on any of these trees today. Just kind of seeing what's going on with them. Making sure that none of them are wild or out of control or unhealthy. I got 2 branches coming out right here, which really means that I've got 3 branches coming out in this one spot. So I'm actually going to take both of these off down here. Take off this one. That back and that one as well. You know what, I'm actually going to take this off entirely, I think. I got this nice branch down here, which I'll keep. I don't really want anything growing on the inside like that. And same thing with this one. It's going to grow on inwards. I don't really need that. A little branch right here and a branch right there, so that should look... Oh, got it back to that one. That one. Okay. And back to the top. It's easy to get caught up, we'll scale on this. It's easy to get caught up worrying about really fine detail work while you're doing summer pruning. And on some trees it's the right thing to do, but on a lot of trees you're going to wind up removing a lot of that growth anyway, so it's not really worth worrying too much about one way or the other. Take that off the inside. That one as well. So you wind up spending a lot of energy agonizing about something that you wind up taking off anyway, because it's not really in the profile shape that you're looking for. So you just wind up sort of being very concerned about something for no specific reason. I'll take that off. Here's a branch that's problematic. It's going way across the body of the tree, so we'll cut that back. And that's still a bit rough, so I'm going to take it off completely. It's way in the inside. And another one here that's doing kind of the same thing. It's growing up and over and interfering with this branch, so I'll take that off. This way I kind of give each branch its own little space. And you can see I'm starting to get some really nice, fine branching in here. And that just comes with time. There's no way to really rush any of it. But that is what you will get by doing kind of constant prune backs. Now, does that mean that this will be the final shape of the tree? Maybe not. Probably not. But in the meanwhile, it looks better. You know, it's a progress, not perfection kind of thing. Right here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different branches all come out of the same spot. It's pretty vigorous. I'm going to take this one out, which opens up the middle a bit. And I'm going to cut this stronger one back to here, and then take this little bitty one off and this one as well. And this one here I'm going to cut way back to there. The branches are definitely interfering with each other when they get tangled into one another. If you ever are wondering, hey, are these branches interfering? If they are tangled into one another, the answer is yes. I'll take that one off. And got this little one growing out there. I don't really need that. It's going to grow out of a crook. Take that out of there. Cut that back further. Just cut that back to there. Yeah. I think that's enough for this Ficus Benjamina. Spin you back around to the front of it. Right about there. You can see it's kind of grody with latex, but it looks quite like a ficus. Probably more like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's get rid of this. And maybe this one. There we go. Now we can really see what's going on with that trunk line. Yeah, that looks really good. Cool. So now for the rest of the summer for that. Next on the bench is going to be this poplar, which I had originally started as a group planting. The rest of the trees really struggled. I'm actually down to only one of the other trees at this point, but it's doing okay as kind of an individual plant. And so this one's just kind of enjoying its time in this nice big planter. It has been growing out really well, but as you can see, it also needs a bit of a trim back. Really needs to be trimmed way back, honestly. But I'll do the major cuts. I'm probably going to cut it back to here in the winter. But for right now, I'm just going to do kind of the same thing. Just cut everything back to a couple of leaves. Work on getting some extra branching. And removing some of this dead stuff. Hopefully I'll get a little lucky on some of this lower branching and get some really nice growth on it. Looks like it's starting to leaf out a bit. Push comes to shove, I can always make some additional cuttings and air layerings off of this. That was very successful. Even though the replants didn't take, the cuttings themselves actually worked really well. They really rooted. Actually, I'm going to just take and cut all this way back. Cut it all way back. Make these lower branches the ones that are really the strongest. Yeah, let's just go nuts. There we go. So now all of the energy moving forward will hopefully go into these two lower branches, which are beginning to leaf out. Maybe we'll get some of these other lower buds to actually activate. They're looking pretty good. So that's it for the poplar. Next, you can see I got this Coast Redwood, and it's doing really well. I cut it back in the autumn, and it's really just kind of flushed out again. Pull this. I think this is an ash. I'm going to take this out. I've got a lot of volunteer ash trees. Maybe I'll leave it. But you can see here there's a lot of big old whorls. So I want to show you down here at the bottom. Right here. Right here, there's just a big old whorl of branches growing out in there. And it's getting a big old knuckle on it. So I want to try and get that addressed before it gets too much worse. And I don't really want these low branches anyway, so it's okay that I need to take them off. There just isn't much that I can do about this knuckle at this stage. If I trim it up too much, then I'll just girdle the tree, which I don't want to do. That'll kill it. So for now, I just have to live with this little knuckling growth in there. and hope that as it grows out. Same thing up here. I've got a whole bunch of branches growing out of the same spots. I'll start by taking this nub off the top. And then I'll take that one off. Hopefully get something a little bit more radial in the growth on that. All right, that's it for that little one. All right, next is going to be this Portulacaria afra that I started working on last year, and it's got some nice branching to it, and it's really shot out here. We got some spider webs in here, so be a little careful. Don't want to chase any spiders away. And this one, I just kind of want to be in a general triangular shape for now. I kind of want this to be like a pine tree style with a nice cone to it. So the way you do that is, broadly speaking, just kind of clip the thing into a roughly dome or cone shape. And give me a little bit of an off-center one. I'm not sure there's a lot of real work to be done on this tree at this stage. I'll take off that branch. Cut that one back. Yeah. And again, doesn't look like much right now. There's another one of these. No, that one's actually just a weed. I'll take that one out. It doesn't look like much for now, but that's okay. We'll let it keep growing, and I'll make some more significant choices in the winter time. Yeah. We'll cut this all back. This is very robust growing. I haven't been very good about pinching this one. As you can see, I don't spend a ton of time making decisions on these. Not at this stage, and not for these, and not during summer. All right, I think the last one I'm going to work on today is this semi-cascade style Monterey Cypress. This is another California native. You see them up and down the coast, but it is absolutely going crazy. So it just needs to be, again, be trimmed roughly back into shape so we can kind of see what's going on with it. Maybe look at it from the other side. There we go, that looks a little bit better. There's another volunteer tree. This is an elm. This is not the best way to prune any of this stuff. If this was, you know, final refinement on this, I would definitely not be doing it this way, but you know, it is not. It is early days on this tree. I just want to get it opened up a bit more, allow a little more sunlight through. It's definitely going to do another flush before the summer is out, so I'm not too worried about what I cut back. It's going to do something very aggressive. Just tons and tons of branching on it, which is excellent. There we go. Now we can better see our trunk line. It's not the best trunk line, so that doesn't have a lot of movement in it, but over time, different pots. All right. Bullet dragon. All right, and that is that for now. I lie. That is that. There we go. Now that is that.